Hey, it's Renee here, and welcome to this video on the 8 shocking reasons why rotational dating is a low-value strategy. Over the last 10 years, rotational dating theory, or circular dating, has become the stock standard advice given to women dating men. It goes a little like this: date more men, build your man funnel, get more men in your rotation, they say. Just between you and I, doesn't the term man funnel sound completely dehumanizing? Now, just to be clear, I am not here to tell you what to do. It's your life, and you're perfectly free to make your own choices. So if you feel like rotational dating is what you need in your life right now, go for it. I trust you to find your own way. However, I want you to know that in my view, rotational dating is a low-value strategy. There's nothing wrong with dating more than one person at once, because hey, sometimes that just happens in a person's life. However, consciously rotational dating is something else altogether. There are some serious problems with this approach to dating. 8 specific problems, in fact. By the way, the full blog post is on my website. I'll make sure to have a little link in the description below. This video is just a short summary of that blog post. Reason number 1, it actually throws away your natural power as a woman in favor of distraction. Your real power as a woman is attaching deeper and thereby magnifying your emotions so that you can actually genuinely calibrate yourself to a man. Rotational dating attempts to reduce that level of attachment by nothing other than distractions. It is a distraction from what is real and raw. It throws away your intense emotion that you experience when you start to care for a man in favor of a manufactured, fake detachment that rotational dating promises to give you. You might feel less intensely and detach more from any one man, but rotational dating or circular dating comes at a huge price. You won't have the intense emotion, the depth, and the attachment that is actually necessary for men to fall in love with you. You see, as a woman, it's in your natural bias to emotionally attach deeply, and often before a man does. And as a man, it's his natural bias to spend less energy focused on committing to you, at least initially. And these two opposing interests are supposed to be there. If they weren't, you'd be more like a man and he'd be more like a woman. And if these biases were not there, then a man would never fall in love, because your intense vulnerability wouldn't exist. And the more men you spread your resources through and rotate through, the less intense your emotion will be to the right man, which means the less vulnerable you will be, causing them to hang around in your life but never fall in love with you. You see, your feminine body and your responses are there for a reason. That's why we as women are naturally so much more emotionally sensitive than men. It's not a mistake. It is this way for a good reason. As they say, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Your real power as a woman is your ability to connect with a man and to inspire emotions in his masculine world. To do that, you need to be vulnerable and attuned. And to be attuned, you can't rotational date because it takes that power away from you. When you're not in touch, when you're unable to trust yourself to feel, then it's easy to become distracted by junk food like multi-dating or rotational dating. It's easy to get distracted by multiple average men giving you attention. As a result, you'll lose depth, you'll lose emotion, vulnerability, heart, and authenticity. It's like choosing to have multiple meals of junk food instead of looking for a hearty and nutritious meal that your body actually craves. Okay, reason number 2. It's an overcompensation of a woman's need to attach early. Women attach early. It's normal and biologically necessary for us. It's in our interests because we are the ones who have to bear, breastfeed, and raise babies. There's nothing wrong with attaching early. It's our birthright, and we better feel uncertain, sad, and even hurt when a man we love isn't reciprocating our level of care and attachment in the relationship. Rotational dating, to avoid feeling and weathering the uncertainty of a man's level of investment in you, just makes us as women less calibrated and more distracted. I can't stress enough, you have every reason every right as a woman to attach early, and it's in your own biological interests to do so. On that note, I will be releasing a new guide soon designed to help you understand your feminine bias of attaching early and how to use that bias to actually be high value. Back to the topic. So, of course, we may risk getting attached to the first man we have an emotional connection with. That's not the actual problem. That is in fact the purpose of having an emotional connection, attachment. The problem isn't early attachment, it's actually a lack of attunement. So, is rotational dating the happy middle ground solution to the issue of a woman attaching early? Well, no, it isn't. Attunement is. Attunement is what leads you to having the ability to calibrate, to take it slow, and be honest about how you feel and how this man makes you feel. That is the happy middle ground. And by attunement, I really mean attunement to yourself and to your deep feelings, and your feelings in relation to a man, as well as to where the man is actually at. The more detached and emotionally removed you are, the less close anyone will feel to you, let alone a man. I don't care how Buddhist, evolved and wonderful you think it is to be emotionally removed or detached. Nobody will be loyal to you if there's this sense of superficiality and detachment permeating through your interactions with men. It's quite like friendships, isn't it? The more popular someone is, the more friends or acquaintances they'll have, but the less close any of those people will actually be with them. Now, early attachment to a man is not the problem. The problem is secretly feeling unworthy of love inside yourself. That's the problem. That's the real issue. But attaching earlier than a man does is perfectly normal, and it leads the relationship into a realm of deeper connectedness, because the woman is forced to feel and be vulnerable. So, knowing this innate vulnerability in women, would you think that the best solution would be to go towards the opposite extreme and overcompensate for a very natural part of being a woman? The reason I ask is this: to shun a woman's pattern of early attachment in favor of rotational dating causes you to run the risk of detaching yourself too much. You will lose the feminine essence that permeates through your soul as a woman. It is only the one and only type of woman that will inspire deep and lasting emotional commitment from a man. And that leads me to reason number 3. Rotational dating ensures that you will show up as the one of many type of woman. Rotational dating makes it so that you will spread your eggs over many baskets, and therefore you'll be more superficial and detached from any particular man. Here's the thing: when you show up in the dating world as the kind of woman who intentionally creates a pool or a funnel of many men, then you are actively making every man you meet and date a one of many man in your life. Now, of course, most men will sense that, and that same energy will come back to you. So this means that the men you date, no matter how high value they are, will be more inclined to unconsciously make you a one of many woman in their life, because that's how you're showing up. It's reciprocal. Remember, relationship is the domain of the feminine. We actually subconsciously and consciously lead a man further into emotional commitment with us through our authentic vulnerabilities. You don't want to be the one of many woman if you can help it. You want to be the one and only. This is exactly why I made my program and DVD, Becoming His One and Only. If you would like to learn more about the 5 secrets to have any man fall in love with you and beg you to be his one and only woman, just go to www.bhoodvd.com. And you never know, you might find that you can actually get your hands on Becoming His One and Only for free. Okay, we're up to reason number 4. Rotational dating doesn't actually guarantee a mindset of abundance. I remember a woman once said to me, "Renee, I started a rotation of men because I wanted to feel more abundant. I didn't want to feel more and more desperate, feeling like there's no good men out there for me." Seems fair enough, right? My response to her was, is a 5 out of 10 quality of connection with 5 men who are about a 6 or 7 in quality still abundance? Or is that just more of a distraction? What about having abundance through the depth of investments and the depth of connection? Isn't depth of connection and depth of investment with one good man worth so much more? And wouldn't it give you so much more meaning in your life than connecting with several 5s or 7s? What about the depth of connection you miss out on with one person when you choose to have a rotation? Would having mediocre attention from 10 men who are merely interested in you matter more than having devotion from one man who is actually in love with you? Now, using multi-dating or rotational dating as a way to not act from scarcity doesn't guarantee that you will feel abundant. Here's an analogy. It's much like playing a game or a sport with the mindset of trying not to lose rather than trying to win. There's a big difference. And as any athlete would tell you, that mindset is the kiss of death to their career. Reason number 5. If you have low relationship value, then having a rotation won't change that. It will only make it worse. From the perspective of the high value and commitment-oriented men out there, a woman of low value to men will only look worse when she tries to raise her value by dating lots of men. Let me explain. If you only have, say, 2 out of 10 overall value, and you put your focus on building a rotation, here's what will happen. When you try to rotational date, you are only going to attract 1s, 2s, or at best 3s and 4s to date you and be in your rotation. This will actually only magnify your low value to other high quality men. However, if you are a 2 or 3 out of 10 as a woman, but you put your focus on cultivating actual relationship value for high value men, your relationship value will increase exponentially. If instead of focusing on high numbers of men in your rotation or your funnel, you actually focused on having the skills to build connection and build attraction, and if you focused on cultivating loyalty, maternal instinct, and compassion within yourself, you will raise your value in a way you never knew possible. You could go from a 3 to a 7 and even to a 10, yes, a perfect 10, easily in the eyes of the right man. So, this is to say that your value and rotational dating have absolutely no relation to each other. If you are a 2 out of 10, you're not going to get 8s or 10s falling in love with you or tolerating your rotation because they value themselves more than that. Reason number 6, men asking you for exclusivity or marriage is not the ultimate goal. Now, women, especially women in their 30s and beyond, understandably, they often feel like they risk a lot by dating just one man. They feel like they don't want to get attached to one man, only to have him leave her high and dry one day. So rotational dating until one man so-called steps up and asks for exclusivity is a nice kind of safety net, isn't it? Well, actually no, and here's why. It's because exclusivity and engagement doesn't actually mean what you think it does inside a man's mind. Just because inside the feminine mindset, exclusivity or some kind of official relationship equals value doesn't mean it's always actually a good thing. On the surface, a man asking for exclusivity seems to mean more security and more resources for a woman. But he could be asking for exclusivity for himself. Rotational dating as a strategy is effectively just trying to shortcut the process of falling in love. And it's a process that just cannot be shortcut. This whole rotational dating, quantum dating, multi-dating or man funneling, whatever you want to call it, it's just women trying to secure resources and some kind of security blanket in case they get burned by a man. But this strategy of rotational dating doesn't actually achieve long-term security for a woman, because the only true long-term security is if a man is in love with the woman, because if he's in love, and she is too, then you create what's called an actual pair bond. That pair bond is more valuable than a relationship born out of labels, convenience, or just the man and woman trying to hoard someone's resources because they feel desperate inside. Now, if you have any understanding of men at all, you may have already figured out that men can ask for exclusivity for many reasons. They sometimes also marry women for many different reasons. Some of those reasons are very bad reasons. Men could ask for exclusivity because they want to stop you from taking your resources elsewhere, and not because they are in love with you. The only thing that has real value is the pair bond and the emotional connection and the emotional attraction. So even if you end up falling into a so-called relationship or an engagement through circular dating or rotational dating, the quality of the relationship may be much lower than if you chose to value connection and attraction. Reason 7, if you're not feeling confident, rotational dating is not even a solution. Now, if your real issue is that you don't truly love yourself or feel confident inside, and you need men's attention on you to keep your vibe high, then go and actually work on that deep feeling of unworthiness, rather than distracting yourself with many men. Rotational dating just cannot fix the internal problem of unworthiness. Let me ask you a question. A lot of women treat rotational dating as a way to keep their vibe high and to ensure that they feel good about themselves, and so that there's always a man pursuing them. Well, what happens when you are finally exclusive with a man, or even engaged, and you still have this habit of feeling low vibe, unattractive, or unconfident? Are you suddenly going to just start feeling bad about yourself because you can't go and date all these other men now? When you're exclusive, you can no longer multi-date. So if you didn't fix that underlying problem of low confidence or being triggered easily to feel unworthy, you'll still have the problem within you when you're actually exclusive or in a long-term committed relationship. Now, the last reason number 8, smart men will see through the rotational dating strategy. Smart men will intuitively look for attunement, which means they will look for a woman who is sensitive, nurturing, and therefore capable of being at one with him and available for deeply bonding to him. If he senses any threat to his long-term ability to trust you, or any deliberate attempt to manipulate the situation and to create distance, he may leave. Men who are smart, who operate from secure attachment, and who are secure within their own masculinity would never bother with a woman who chooses to multi-date in order to weed out low-investment men and try to make herself more scarce. Smart men just know intuitively to place value on a woman's ability and desire to remain loyal. I've heard women inside of our Facebook group say things like, "Date more men, the more men the better." Well, there's actually a huge price to pay for doing stuff like this, even if it seems like a reasonable solution. Now, we've already established that for men, loyalty in a woman matters greatly for whether he sees her as his one and only woman worthy of committing to. If you show up with dating multiple men as your priority from the start, there's no way a quality man can see you as loyal. With this multi-dating strategy, there is simply zero care for being loyal. Essentially, in order to protect yourself from low-value men by rotational dating, you also unintentionally write off the smart men and the truly high-value men. So I wanted to leave you with one final question. Rotational dating might, on the surface, serve your sense of certainty. However, do you think that rotational dating actually makes you a woman of value to men? Have a think about that. And consider what costs you might actually incur to your future dating life if you choose to use this dating strategy. Okay, that's all for this video. Best of luck to you out there in this modern dating world. Also, I'd love to hear from you. What are your views on this topic? How do you feel? And what are your experiences with circular dating or rotational dating? Okay, that's it for now. I look forward to speaking to you very soon.